All right, we just put our base on, but we're not fully attached, so I'm going to give it a little tap tap. Make sure this bottom part is still circular. And I'm just going to run my finger on the edge like this, all the way around. Again, this is why banding wheels work really well. And I'm just rounding and rounding and rounding like this. Rounding and connecting. That will connect pretty much your outside. I also like to come in here with a rib. Round it. Connect it. All right. Great. Now we want to make sure the inside is connected as well and sealed. So I'm going to get some water and a soft paintbrush. And I'm going to go around and around and around the inside. And that will basically seal it up. And I can't emphasize to you guys enough that it's really important that you have your circles, your circle nice and round before you do that. All right. Now we're going to start adding volume. This is an important part. So I'm just smoothing out my rim here so I don't have any sharp edges. And it's no fun to have an owl that looks like a straight up and down cylinder. So I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to get my water. Move some of this stuff out of the way. I'm going to wet my hand and I'm going to start pulling up. Pulling up, pulling up, pulling up, pulling up, and what it's doing is it's adding volume. You don't want to start at the very bottom. You want to maybe fingers up because you don't want to mess with that seam. And I'm pulling up and giving this owl a cute little belly. I'm bellying it out. You have to do this little by little and very slowly, so that your texture doesn't start to break. And your clay should be fairly soft at this point. This side over here that has the seam, I'm going to live with that seam. I'm going to emphasize that seam perhaps by running my tool on it. Why not? Celebrate it. And then every now and then you want to look, stand back and look and see if you're happy with the belly. You can either go up, you're doing this kind of motion, or you can go across, across, across. And again, a banding wheel works really well because you can turn it just like I'm doing here. All right. I'm going to change angles here for a minute. I'm going to change my camera so you guys can see how I'm bellying this out. So let's see, we're going to go here. There we go. Ooh, move this over. There we go. I just wanted you guys to see how this is happening because, oh, closer. Sorry, I'm having to set my cameras. There we go. All right. So again, I'm inside and I'm going up like this, or I'm going up around. So I've got my water right here. Wet your hand. Does not have to be soaking wet. And I'm just going to go up. I'm going up. And you can see my hand moving in there. See that? Yeah. And I'm just standing back every now and then to see what's happening. See if I'm happy with the stretch. It's super duper important, you guys, that you do this before the clay dries out too much because it won't allow you to stretch it if it's too dry. It will not allow the stretch. Your clay will start to crack and you will be bummed. I'm just kind of stretching only the middle. You can see how that's kind of bulbing out a little bit right there. Should have a shade. And then I'm looking all the way around until I'm happy with it. This clay that I'm using, I rolled it out and I waited 20 minutes only. 20 minutes, that's it. If it starts to crack a little bit, you can kind of take your finger. This seam right here is where my two textures came together, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. All right, then the top's going to need a little flare out as well. So I'm going to put my hand around here like this, like that, and pull out just a little bit. So that it flares a little bit on the top. All right, that looks like a pretty good shape to me. We're going to let this dry a little bit, and then we will attach, or add rather. We will start adding the eyes and placing the eyes, adding the coils, adding the nose. We're getting there. All right.